I have something to tell y'all. This has been quite hard on me, and this has plagued me for quite a while now, but I think it's time to finally speak out. I have AIDS. Lifting aids. I have various lifting aids here that I use in my training. So in this video I'm going to get a little bit tipsy, and I'm going to talk around what I think is necessary for every hard trainer's gym bag, what should be in it, what has helped me, and what I do think is absolutely essential and vital to continue your progress in a safe and effective manner. So let's go through my lifting aids. Alright, so a few words on lifting aids. Are they essential? No. When you're beginning, not necessarily. But I argue when it becomes to intermediate stage, where you've been at it for a while and there's parts of your body that are starting to become, put it this way, your lifts are starting to become that hard where it requires you to do mobility and joint warm-ups before your exercises, and maybe when weights have come to the point where you're starting to feel your muscles are strong enough to perform the weight, like a squat, but then as you come down, maybe the knees are starting to feel not as supported, maybe the core or the glutes are starting to feel weak and you're firing out. That's all signs that then maybe lifting aids and devices are going to start working your benefit to allow you to bring your muscles to further failure without having to essentially gain super strength or gain bulletproof knees or, you know, such super strong spinal erectors that you would never need a belt. So let's go through my 8 that I think is, and these are things that I use day in, day out. This is not just something that, you know, it remains in my bag and I never use it. These are things that really help me. So, first one. Footwear is always important. Shoes. The first things first. So, a good pair of shoes. Squatting shoes. Ones with firm heels. I really cannot begin to tell you how effective shoes are. Fuck my dick. Lifting shoes, or weight training shoes, whatever you want to call them, are just, they're extremely effective. So this hard heel. Now, some people do argue that there's other footwear that don't cost, you know, good pairs like these are a couple £100, you know, £100 on. But my missus gets these on Vinted for me, second hand. Now, some people argue there's other good footwear you can use, but the main emphasis on this is something with a firm heel or firm platform. Not something where when you're walking on, it feels like you're walking on a space hopper. It can't be soft and bouncy, it needs to be firm. Now, while it's effective for the likes of deadlifts and squats, you know, something that it cements your foot to the ground. There's not going to be any kind of possibility where you go, whoa, back one. We're really under the ground. Now, these also help some bench pressing though, because when you're benching, your feet are, if you can drive your feet even firmer into the ground and you have something that's going to stop you sliding back or forth, you're having a good time. So footwear, that's the first one. Second one would be elbow straps or elbow sleeves. They're called elbow sleeves. Around my elbows, right? This stops me getting, they call it golfers and tennis elbow. But if I went to the doctors and he told me I had a tennis elbow, my first response would be, but I don't play fucking tennis. And if the second response, it could be golfer's elbow. Well, I don't play fucking golf. So I would be quite annoyed, especially getting something like that for years of never ever touching golf or tennis. So elbow straps are very important for me. The sleeves work as a compression device. I developed elbow pains in the past. And again, a lot of people think that you tend to sort of develop these from pushing exercise, and you may well do, but a lot of them actually can be due to really heavy curling. And I used to do a lot of heavy bicep curling. Like I used to use maybe 65 kilo on the Olympic bar, you know, and maybe burn out sets of 7, 8 in these while stripping other things. That kind of weight format for a bicep is just not necessary. So they do put a lot of strain on your elbows, joints. Elbow sleeves compression device, especially for pushing, put you in a really comfortable and safe position. These actually, I believe, when I did have elbow pain so severe that I couldn't even do a press up, and that was over the lockdown period, I wore these even during the daytime and work, and eventually after about a month or so using them, the elbow went away. So I always use these. Any heavy pressing, These are always, always, always something that I will slip into to make myself feel sexy. The third thing would be a lifting belt. Lifting belt. So how these work is, so I've got two. So this is one I got recently that my good friend actually bought me. These are they're very sturdy. This is a high quality one, a proper powerlifting one. I did for years train on a lesser one of these ones, which just goes in like a normal belt. And this did get me through for years, maybe 4 or 5 years actually. But the high quality stuff, while it takes a bit of getting used to, it makes you feel like a Victorian woman because this feels like a corset. So when you go, it makes you feel really safe and secure. So when you come down and squat, the only problem is it compresses so tight that sometimes I feel like I'm going to burst mini blood vessels in my lips. You just need to get it right. The only problem with these is, with a belt one, you can adjust it as you go. With these ones, you need to screw in the plate, so it's a bit of a ball ache, but they're very firm. Why do we take these? On lifts, when things are starting to get super heavy, you know, deadlifts, maybe something that you're hanging, maybe like a lat pull, a squat, stuff like that. These lifting belts are going to keep your spinal erectors and lower back very compressed and tight, and especially if you use it for this purpose, where you're supposed to swell up your stomach so the air comes in through your stomach and you push out and you compress yourself, so you decrease the space between your lower back and your stomach against the belt. That will keep you very safe. And I've lifted some, you know, serious weights in comparison to my body weight, where, you know, it feels like, you know, the back is about to shoot out, and the belt really allows you to just stay safe and stay secure, and it gives you a lot of confidence as well. So belts are good. Now I'll go into a deeper video of the do's and don'ts in belts. I am a firm believer of only using them when necessary. Some people do use them throughout the whole way. I'm a firm believer of building strong spinal erectors to need them less, but it's always a go-to for them weights. Then the fourth thing would be a chain belt. This is for adding additional weights. So this would be, you could call it a weight belt as well. I just call it a chain belt. So again, this goes round you like so. I feel like I'm doing a casting couch. What's over here? So it goes around you like so. Chained in. These are all medieval torture devices, they look like. So we essentially put plates in between there. So good for weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, that kind of thing. This gets used about twice a week for me, for weighted dips and weighted pull-ups. This was a cheap one, about £15. I got this about 4 or 5 years ago, and has never snapped me once. And I have, ranging on my max sets, about 60 to 65 kilo strap in this, and it's never snapped me once. And the day it happens, I'll be fucking screwed, because it'll probably rip my dick off in the process, because it's very close to me there. Okay, so what are we on to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on to number 5. Number 5 would be lifting straps. So I've got 2 types here. Again, these are always essential. With the weight, you're going to get to a certain point where in your program where, and if you're training properly, you know, where you're training for focused strength and you're reaching rep ranges where it's hard to get 6 to 10 out of, eventually what's going to happen is your muscles are going to grow so strong that your grip strength is not going to be as good as that. And that's, you know, it doesn't matter how pro you are and how strong you are. That's going to happen. It's going to happen in a deadlift. No one's lifting a max deadlift without hook gripping, chalk, or straps. It just doesn't happen. But it goes for other things as well. Literally anything. It can be, you know, lat pulling with a dumbbell, pull down. I would use these for some heavy pull downs to make sure. The whole goal of it is I want to bring my muscles to failure. I don't want my grip to start to slip, and for me have to worry the whole way through the set about grip, whereas where my muscles is not getting proper attention, and I want my muscles to get to failure. I can't do that if my grip starts slipping. So again, these are very effective, but only at the sets I need them. I'm not going to start using them in every set, because once I do that, my grip strength is going to decrease over the months. So I only use these on the max sets. This is just a different type of power. This is one strongmen tend to use, where it's just a different type. Then one you wrap around. This one you put the lip through the bar and grab it. Both are good, but that one rips the shit out of your skin, or your wrist, I find. Number 6, knee straps, knee sleeves. Again, only use these when really necessary, because the more you start to take advantage of these kind of lifting aids, the more you can start to build weak points. And building strong, like thick muscle and tissue around the knees is going to really help through good leg pressing, good deadlifts, good stiff legs, good squats. It's going to make a big difference. So the more you start to use this stuff, it's brilliant for the fact of being safe and being able to do like a max big squat without having to worry about, I'm going to get knee pain here, or what if something happens. These are great. So again, I use them on the very last sets when need them, but always working up, warm-ups, I won't. The reason why is simply because a warm-up is specifically for to try to get your joints used to what's happening. So if your joint had, say your joint had a brain, your joint would be thinking, oh, okay, that's what you're doing to me. An extra 10 pound. Okay, that's what we're going to, an extra 10 pound. Okay, I'm starting to get, I see what you're doing here. You're starting to get us to, you're not calling us, you're getting us used to the weight load. And then when it comes to that last set, the joints are more or less prepared for it. If you start to use lifting aids all the time, like straps, like knee sleeves particularly, or belts, the joints are having support all the way through even warm-ups, and then when it comes in big weights, it's, for me, they don't feel as used to it. So use them sparingly, but they're very essential for the big, especially if we get knee issues, knee straps. Smelling salts. What we do with these is tight, it's tight, Heisenberg, it's tight. You see a lot of powerlifters using them, so they come up to the bar and they go, oh, fuck, and they're going to the big one. Well, for bodybuilding, actually, this is quite actually useful. I use these quite a bit. They are very good, and especially, again, do I use them in a warm-up? No, I'm not going to use them with an empty bar. Fuck! I'm going to use them when it comes to the last one, like a strength set, a 4 to 5 rep ranger, or even something that I really want to go full failure at, say an RPE 7-8 where it's like 6 to 10 reps. I need to pick me up to really psych myself up. That and a line of cocaine's perfect. So that's smelling salts. If you want to get really intense and you're someone that really needs to get in the zone to attack your sets, you'll find actually great success with smelling salts. And then the next one would be anabolic steroids. No, we're joking. The last one I would say that would be quite important would be wrist supports. Again, I would use these for the likes of bench and something where the weight is falling onto my wrists. As the weight gets heavier and heavier, it doesn't matter how locked in and secure you feel you are, something can always go fucking wrong. A twinge can happen. And see if you get a twinge or a problem with your wrists, it will fuck your whole week up. It'll fuck months up if you can't get rid of it. It is a ball ache to get over. It is a fucking nightmare. You lift it, it can even affect squats. You get under the bar, oh, my fucking wrist, oh, fuck. It can even affect back, push, bicep. It can affect so much. So something nice and secure here. You know, I feel like a kid in Christmas Day that's just got his Spider-Man gloves. But that's what they look like. Again, I use these mainly for the max set, unless my wrists tend to feel a bit tight. If you're starting to get early signs where the wrist is like, I'm getting a wanker's wrist a bit here, it's getting a bit sore, then by all means use them for the warm-ups. But again, it's one of those things, start to use them near the end of your set. So maybe like the last warm-up away from your working set, or, you know, on the working set itself. There's no need to, you know, really take the piss. So that's that's my lifting aids. You're probably looking at this and going, that is fucking a lot. And the bag I have is fucking huge. And I have a lot more of a shit in here, which I'll do a video of at some point with a gym bag, because apparently that's kind of content people love. I do feel these all necessary, and these are things I do use daily. I mean, I'm not just wheeling these out for like pointless content. These are things that you will see me every day, day out in the gym in my bag, pulling out. And I do think without these, once your progress is starting to go up and uphill more, you do need to start to use certain things like lifting aids to be able to get you past these points, because you get so strong to the point where it's like, okay, your joints need the support. You know, the joints may not be as strong as what your muscular capability is, or what you're capable of generating that power. So anyway, lifting aids. I'm not giving brands of what I use because it's pointless. But if I'm lucky in some point in the future and some brand wants to sponsor me, then obviously at that point I'll say, you know, this company here, well, this is one I've always used since I was the age of 13, guys. You know, a discount code in the bio. At the minute, any kind of brand will do. I tend to buy quite cheap. I mean, the boots are quite expensive and the belt's quite expensive, but fuck, hey, I didn't pay for them. So everything else, just monetary money, no spending. They do the job what they need to do. If you liked the video, comment and subscribe and like. That's what all this YouTubers are saying these days. And until the next video, I'll see you later.